Today, I want to teach you how to perform one of my favorite moves, and that's this. This is what's known as a hybrid movement. That means that each hand performs a different movement at the same time. So one hand is performing a quarter of a chaser, and the other hand performs a quarter of an isolation. So this hand performs the chaser, this hand performs the isolation. So together they go up and then down. Up, then down. And it makes this really beautiful effect that's a bit of a misdirection because the 8 rings that overlap, suddenly they switch roles, and so it creates this trick of the eye where you really don't understand what's going on in front of you, you know? And that's why I love this move so much, because it creates this really unique effect that you don't see with other moves. But how do we get into this? To start with this movement, you really want to have picked up chasers really well, as well as isolations. In order to perform this move, you have to be able to perform an isolation versus a chaser. My hands are, this is a split time movement, meaning that one hand moves first and then the other will follow. Try to figure out which one is leading and which one is following. For me, right now, the chaser is leading and the isolation is following. A good rule of thumb for this movement is that 2 rings overlap and it switches between all 4 possibilities of combinations. So first these 2 will overlap, then it'll switch to these 2, then these 2, and finally these 2. So once you can perform this, then you're on a good path to learning my favorite move. So what happens next? So we're going to perform a quarter of this movement, and then we're going to perform a quarter of the movement the opposite way. So the hand that just performed the chaser is now going to perform an isolation, and the hand that just performed the isolation is going to perform the chaser. So that means that you have to learn the move not only this way, but also this way. So try to learn the move both ways. When you can switch between them effortlessly, you know, in my opinion, that's a demonstration of mastery over 8 rings, as well as simply, you know, a great tool for developing transitions. Because what this is basically an infinite transition between quarter time movements. So once you can perform this, you are well on your path to becoming a master of 8 rings, at least in my opinion.